Terry here for week 4. We're going to be looking at audience analysis and it's a bit more research stuff. Before I get into week 4, a couple comments on week 3. I haven't been able to review the homework because of the holiday. I moved the assignment to be due on Monday instead of yesterday or today. But I ended up posting an announcement because some people had turned in the assignment early enough that I could get some feel for what was going on. And many of you are not doing a great job with respect to dealing with all the details. So assignments have many parts, and as I put in the announcements, right, one of the things you might want to end up doing is having a checklist of the required elements. A simple list where you say, here are the 5 things I need, there are 5 things in the assignment, and get rid of all the other words, because there's a lot of words in the assignment that aren't necessarily exactly as what you have to do, they're descriptions. At a minimum, you should go back and you should be reviewing the document against the specification, in this case the assignment, and saying, here's what I need to do. This is a skill that's important for anyone working on tactical writing because it reoccurs in lots of tactical writing assignments to have that type of thing where there's lots of details. I've had plenty of people in my company where when I'm working with them at a high level, I give them less details than I gave you, but I expect them to hit all of the details that are necessary for whatever document we're doing. So I recommend that for week 4. There's multiple pieces going on in each of these assignments, and there's three different assignments, so you're going to want to cover that. I've already posted the video for the audience analysis, which you probably should have watched before this, but if not, watch that before you do any of the homework. There are 2 videos from our reference librarian, Joel Tunyon. The first of these is a demonstration of a number of specialized databases in the library: Statista, NCS, Priveco, MarketLine, Extensus data. This gives you a way of exploring much more detailed data, stuff that you actually won't find on Google. These companies protect their data because they make money by selling access to these databases and trying to find stuff. So some of them are useful because they're about specialized data, and some of them are useful because, like Priveco, tells you stuff about private companies and whatever. So this week's assignment, you're going to use some of those specialized data sets and go through that. The second one is a tool called OneSearch in the library to find books, articles that you can use to support your grant proposals. So you should watch both of those videos. So we're going to now go ahead and we're going to talk about the first assignment, which is research with specialized tools. So the first part of the assignment, which is actually the last one due, it's due September 16th, next Saturday, is research with specialized tools. So again, there's more searching tools and research abilities than I could put in one assignment. So last week we focused on formal citations. This week's we're using specialized tools, using the 2 videos from Joel in the library. You'll get access to see a couple of specialized data sets. So you're going to basically, the first part is I want you to think about 2 search strategies based on what you saw in those videos, and I want you to write it down before you do it. So it's a hypothesis you can go get test. That you're going to have 2 strategies that are going to use at least 2 different databases. You don't have to apply each strategy to each. So it can be, here's a strategy for this data set, here's a strategy for that data set. But I want you to do search strategies for 2 different things. The first is to find data, statistics about people or companies in Colorado that could be useful to the grant, right? Our grant is about helping people, so we should know some stuff about helping people or helping companies, either one or both. The second goal is to find a potential partner organizations in rural Colorado. Because again, that's one of the focuses of the grant. So this is a different kind of research. These references are to be consistent with the grant objectives and the preliminary story you've already seen. The references may be data from the database. So if you look up something and it's raw data, I want you to copy that out and write it up as part of your results. And it can be used directly, and then we cite the database rather than last week's where you found other people's work as formal citations. So this is the difference between preliminary data, this will be preliminary data, versus citing somebody else's papers that are a way of gaining credibility because you're talking about some experts in the field. So I want you to describe why you, as part of the write-up, I want you to describe why you selected particular databases and the expected outcome. So all of this happens, right? I want you to first think about the strategy, describe it, what are the expected outcomes, and then go do it. And then you're going to use those strategies, go and try it, see what happens. Do some related searches using Google, and then document the results. So I want you to try and do these 2 searches, each of 2 ways. So you're going to end up with 4 different searches for sure. I want you to write up the results. However long that takes you depends on your results, and if you have data, it could be a lot. So I'm not going to put any words restriction on that. But I want then 300 to 400 words comparing the search results, the ease of use, the search, the ease of use, the effectiveness, and the results. So I want you to talk about these specialized databases and think about how hard would that have been to find in Google, or trying to find the information you did, was it easier in Google? So I want you to think about that, talk about that as you write this up. I want this to be well written. I'm not going to comment that some of the people's writing so far has been pretty weak. Again, you need to go through and think about writing in terms of grammar. So if you're not using a tool like Grammarly or ChatGPT to fix it up, go ahead and do that, right? I struggle. I have to do this all the time, but you should still, this is an assignment you're turning in. You should be going through that. So the second assignment this week is audience analysis. And so the audience analysis, the first part of this is your personal analysis. So I want you to read the chapters, watch the videos, and in the video there's a little bit more about MBTI that I had time to put in the book. And if you've previously taken an MBTI test, then you sort of know your results. But I want you to sort of, based on what you read, estimate what is your value and why you think you're, what you are. As I said in the video, I'm an ENTP. But when I was in high school, middle school, I was far more introverted, and I tested as introverted the first time I took MBTI. But I also knew that the career path I wanted to follow, being a professor, I needed to learn to be more effective in an outgoing role. And so I've practiced that stuff. And now when I test, I routinely test as ENTP, even though I still have a few I tendencies. I'm not super outgoing, but I'm somewhere on that spectrum now, because after years of practice, it's become my second nature. So I don't view it as personal, it's something you do, but you might look at that and say, oh, that's something I would like to change. So you might think about how you want to change. But you've said what you are. Then I want you to take a test. This Truity test is a reasonably easy one to use. It's free. They will try and sell you more detailed results. So I'm not recommending that in any way. The basic results should get you to what we need for this assignment. There are a few other places online that have tests as well. You're welcome to do any of those as you want. Look at the differences between them. Once you get the two results, I want you to write up 200 to 300 words on those two test results, how they differ, what do you think they say about you, how accurately you think they are. If they're different, say why you think they're different. Why do you think that is? And is it something you wanted to see different? Were you surprised by those results? Tell us a little bit about this as a personal journey and what you learned about yourself. Okay, you're going to post this here as your answer to this assignment, and then you're going to also post it in the discussion on audience analysis when you post your analysis of others, which is actually the next assignment. So I have not finished cleaning up the grammar. Okay, so fix the grammar there. So this assignment is a discussion. So I want you to read some of the previous discussions where people introduce themselves, discuss their loops process, discuss their research. Based on this, I want you to choose 3 people. At most, one of them can be someone who's your friend or someone who's in the same major. I want you to choose other people because the goal is to learn more about how to estimate MBTI for people not like you. For each of those people, go back, read their posts, read their replies, and as a hint, you might use the search for the name to find the replies. Based on their reading, I want you to estimate their MBTI type and then provide 4 to 8 sentences to justify each of the 4 choices. So 1 to 2 sentences for each of what they are: EI, NT, sensing, feeling, judging, perceiving, right? Put those together. Write a little bit about that for each person. What made you decide they were that dimension? The justification is what's important, not the actual letter. But the MBTI makes it easier to compare the results after people post. And if you're really not sure, if you're like, oh, this person might be somewhere between E and I, they see characteristics of both, then you can say that as well. Because again, the hard typing is not the point. It's how well do you understand the audience. And this is, again, you are now analyzing a post of the audience. So we had in the video some discussions of analyzing people's feedback or their social media posts or their other kinds of posts to get some idea what's going on. So I want you to do this analysis for 3 different people, 1 per person. You're going to post that plus your own self-analysis and MBTI type. So this last part is the work you did in the assignment that was posted on the 13th. This assignment is due on the 15th, so you have 2 days after you finish your self-analysis to do this analysis for everybody else and then post it. And then some people have already asked a little bit about extra credits. You've lost some points here and there. For extra credit, I want, for however many points you lost for all your previous assignments. So this is like you can make up everything you've lost so far this semester, maybe. Depends on how deep your analysis goes. I want you to go back after people you've analyzed have posted, see what they posted about themselves, and then start a discussion about it. if you're really down on points, so you can also take part in any discussion about yourself. So how many points can you get? Well, that depends on how many people you analyze, the quality of what you post, including its relation to the reading materials and how you justify it. So longer justifications about more people can get you more points. So if you know you're really down on points, there's a couple of you who lost a number of places, you might do more than 3 people. You might do 5 because every person extra you analyze will give me a reason to give you some extra points. So here's a chance. Understanding your audience is actually a really critical skill. It's one that's very hard for us to get real feedback on. We can spend an assignment where we try and estimate what's going on with any of the grant proposal reviewers we're going to talk about, but we'll have no ground truth, no data. And when we talked about audience analysis, one of the things that really adds strength is feedback where you can learn from your process. So I want you to do this, even if you don't think you need points. After you post, especially if you're one of the students who are eager and get stuff done early, there's going to be no one else who's posted yet, so you can't check your analysis. I recommend you go back in and on the 16th, the day after this is due, check what people posted about themselves in your analysis and their personal assessments and see how well you're doing it and how well you've learned to estimate how are other people reacting. In this very crude, MBTI is not great, but 16 is actually a lot of dimensions, right? And maybe you're just good, you know, if nothing else, see how well did you estimate their temperament, which is 2 of the letters out of the 4, so you only have 4 things to look at instead of 16. Because those are the kind of things we can use when we try and estimate our audience from even a little bit of their writing. This can be useful. So that's your assignment for this week. Again, if there's questions, reach out, ask me questions. I have office hours on Tuesday, but you don't have to wait. You can just send me email. I answer an email pretty quickly. And so if you have issues, ask questions. Don't ask me to just say, what does the assignment say? Ask a particular question, and I will answer that question. But if you say, I don't understand, you have to be more specific because I already think I explained it. So now it's up to you to say what was unclear if you need more clarifications. So that's it for this week. Talk to you next week.